All right, let's take a look at the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals. Kansas City laying 2 on the road. Fezzik, I'll give you the tee box here.
I have nothing on the side. I actually agree with the move on the over, which is at 52.5. I think both these offenses are really trending upwards. If you look at, they're really good numbers for the year, but you look at Kansas City, they're getting 6.5 yards per play last 3 games, over 7 per play. Bengals last 3 games getting over 6 per play. So with both offenses, clicking on all cylinders, maybe Chase plays, and the recent history of these teams playing shootouts the last couple games, I look at this as a 35-31 game. I'm not sure who's going to win. I mean, I would prefer Kansas City, but it should be close. But I definitely agree with the money on the over, and I think you can get at this in terms of pulling back the curtain. Certain prop bets, I'll throw one out that it's really hard to find. But if they had a proposition on how many punts are in this game, I would love to play under 6 punts as an example.
Here's my concern with what you're saying, and really the biggest concern I have with the Chiefs this week. Their injury report is long, and it is a lot of offensive linemen. It is basically every wide receiver. Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, all listed on the injury report today. And I'm starting to worry that, Travis Kelce's great and all, but he can't catch the ball every single route. At some point, there has to be another body out there on the field with him.
Is it just me, or does dude look like he can't run a 5.040? He looks slow.
He's looking old. Yeah. There's no doubt.
He's crafty, though.
And on the other side, you're getting good injury news for the Bengals. Joe Mixon didn't practice today, he's limited today, but they say he's trending towards clearing concussion protocol tomorrow. And that's Thursday. Jamar Chase was limited in practice today. They talked to him after practice. He said, I feel great. I wouldn't be out here practicing if I didn't feel like I could play. I'm ready to go on Sunday. So Jamar Chase, to me, is playing. And if he does, the 2 games that the Bengals have played the Chiefs with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is averaging 8 catches, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
So maybe we go Chase prop. We do a Chase over.
I think so.
Yeah.
They don't have an answer for him. So even if he's and I think maybe those
then he plays one series and re-aggravates an injury.
Now that's the scary thing, but I think those props would be kind of they'd probably be pushed down a little.
I don't think so.
No.
I think you're giving these bookmakers way too much credit. Take season-long average, bang, and that's what the openers are.
So a couple of ATS numbers here on both sides. Joe Burrow, all he does is cover. 15-3 against the spread in his last 18 starts. But Patrick Mahomes actually has a better ATS record on the road than he does at home. On the road, he's 24-15-1 ATS, as opposed to 21-23-1 ATS at home. So Mahomes better on the road covering, but all Joe Burrow does is cover football games.
Yeah, I tend to lean to the Bengals here. I don't have a solid play one way or the other. And I don't think that the Bengals are a teasable side because
not excited with this total.
Yeah. I think like you said, I think this game could be a shootout.
Kansas City could win by 17.
They could.
They could lose by 17.
Yeah. It's just too high variance for me from a score standpoint. So even though it is a 2, I won't be looking to tease this game.
See, that's a great lesson. All Wong teasers are not created equal.
That is certainly the case.
No doubt.
Yeah, 2 Wongs don't make a right.
The lower the total, the more teasable game is. And I always advocate not playing college teasers at all. But certainly there's the SEC 38 total, or the Wisconsin probably. Well, actually, the Wisconsin Iowa type of games. Maybe that makes the case for why college football teasers, even when they're really low totals, aren't good when you look at what happened to Iowa and Wisconsin last week with both of them laying eggs. Yes.
Now, here's a question for you, Fez. Like I said, this is a high variance game. You said Kansas City could win by 17. They could lose by 17. Would that mean that there is intrinsically some kind of value on the Bengals money line? Would you rather play Bengals money line than Bengals +2?
It would make theoretical sense, yes.
But in this case, you don't see that.
Well, what's the trends that Mackenzie? Can we run
Plus
the numbers?
115 versus the plus 2 points.
Well, can we run the numbers on games this year where an underdog of under 3 points lost the game but covered?
Yes.
Because I bet you it's rare. I bet you if they're like,
It's all. This is all like. It's
But how
the
many
money. The money lines are all priced correctly. Like if over the course, although this didn't happen with the run lines in baseball, there was a pointed disparity this past year where I think a lot of the run lines covered, but the teams didn't win. But in general, if you break even against the spread, like you bet 1,000 games, -2.5 or +2.5, and you break even. If you play the money line, you should pretty much break even as well. Now, if you do that like on a 5-point like underdog, then you're close to breaking even again. But as you get to like the 7 and 8 and 9-point underdogs, it doesn't do as well because the bid-ask differential is just too high.
My theory is underdogs of under 2.5 are going to be more profitable on the money line than on the spread.
And you're right historically, but what happened is the market caught up to that. So it used to be that you'd get plus 130 on a 2.5-point dog, and now you can never get plus 130. You can get like plus $1.23 on games like that now. So the market is not as generous as it was even 7 years ago.
Yeah,
what's the best you're seeing? Like 123, 120?
Since he 110 right now.
Well, screw that.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
I'd rather tease the high variance teaser. I'd rather tease the high variance teaser than take a crappy plus 110.
There's a bunch of plus 115s, 117s. Those
All
are
right.
good numbers.
All right, yeah.
And
It's not 130 like it was in 2008.
Yeah, and I mean, Mackenzie, what do you see? How many times has it come up? First of all, that there's been a 2.5 to half point or a 2.5 to a pick'em or a 1 point, I guess. Favorite
Just do two plus or minus a half.
Yeah.
2-point dog plus or minus a half.
And what have been the results, Mackenzie?
Against the spread versus money line. I'm curious which did better.
So this year, 26 times the team has won, favored by less than 3, but favored one time. 1 out of 26 they failed to cover. Just this past weekend, Chargers, Cardinals.
Okay, and if you go back, let's say the last 10 years, what is that? What happens to those numbers?
About 7% of the time when you win as a favorite of less than 3, 7-8% of the time, 7.1% of the time to be exact, you don't cover.
These 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5 don't seem to matter that much.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to take Bengals money line or nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't finished the math yet.
Exactly. I love this part.
Okay.
Okay.
Go
So
on.
we're going to bet 100 of these. All right.
Uh-huh.
If we take the dog, we win 100 of them. So, okay. So if they cover, we make 100 units. So
Well, no, we'd win plus 110 or plus 120.
we're not there yet. We're taking the points.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're up 100 units, or we can. That's curtain number 1, or we can reject it for curtain number 2, where we're going to take all these teams on the money line, which sure seems like it should be way better because 93% of the time those teams won. So we're going to do that. So we're going to lose 7 units because 7 times they screwed up and lost. Okay. 93 times we win. So let's take 93. What's our average money line? Plus 1.15?
That sounds fair.
What's 93 times 1.15? We pick up like 18 units.
106.9.
So we're 211, right? So we win 211 units. We take, we win 111 units. We take back 7, and so we profit a net 104 instead of a net 100. So we get there, but it's not that much better. But we win 4 more units provided we get plus 117. Now let's say we only got plus $1.10. Okay, so 117 we make 4 more units. If we get plus $1.10, we're going to make 93 plus 9.3. We're going to be at, we're not going to get there anywhere close because now we're going to be at like 103, I'll round it up. In terms of winners, we lose 7 games. Now we're only at 96. We're going to be at minus, we're at minus 4.
This is where the money line really is important here. And if the book is only hanging up plus 110, it's not worth it.
If it's plus 115
If it's
or
plus
better,
120, it's worth it.
Yeah, great. I think conclusively plus 115, it's better. And if it's plus 110, it's worse.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Now, boy,
Where else are you going to get that?
that's good stuff.
Where else are you going to get that?
That is good stuff.
Wait, stop. Sleepy, play the Only in Dreams. I know you got it.
Now, Fez, you have to tell me, being that good at math, was it worth it getting your head put in the toilet all those times?
You know, I never. I'm trying to think of the worst thing that ever. You know what sucked is I would walk around like with all the books, and people would smack the books out of my hand. They all go flying, and I'd get flat tires.
Never
all the time.
What about the wedgie? Did you ever get a public wedgie?
I never got a public wedgie.
What about a Melvin?
I did have a big kid that was like in a grade beneath me, that was like for some reason picked me to pick on him, and I actually got into a fight and beat him up.
Oh,
I
there
just
you
said,
go.
enough of this crap.
Enough of this nonsense.
Yes.
Now,
what was like
with
popular?
Johnny,
What was popular though when you were in school? It was like noogies, right?
Yeah, we had a guy, a running back, Doug Granzo. He was he's a good kid, but he used to come up to people and he'd go connection, and he would hit you in the arm hard when he said connection. The Gransman, Doug Granzo. He once choked Kenny Oberyu in 4th grade. No one intervened. I swear, and Kenny, his whole face was turning purple. And I look back in this day, and I was just, a little kid in 4th grade. But it's like, Jesus, at what point would I jump in and try to save the guy's life? Probably never, because then the Gransman would probably have choked me.
what's your recommendation to Johnny if he's getting bullied? Do you tell him to fight back or just kind of deal with it?
Oh, I say hit the guy as hard as you possibly can in the chest.
Okay, in the chest?
In the chest. He's 11.
I say in the neck.
No, the chest.
The neck is much
With
more
an
efficient.
open hand.
Or what I used to do
He knows karate. He can take care of it.
if I knew I was going to get in a fight, I would try to punch a guy in his collarbone as hard as I could, because when you get smacked in the collarbone really hard, it's hard to throw a good solid punch after that.
You ever step on a guy's foot before you hit him?
Well, in MMA I have.
That works, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Mm.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throws his balance.
Were you
off,
an
everything.
inside fighter or an outside fighter?
Outside fighter? I wasn't trying to get hit.
Okay.
I tried to hit people as much as I could without getting hit at all.
So I believe we've concluded on the Cincinnati game that if you can get plus 115, that's a slam dunk. If you're going to bet the Bengals, that's better than taking plus 2.